Thank you very much, Madam Vice President, Director General of the ILO, Excellencies, social partners, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address you and speak on behalf of the Federation of Somali Trade Unionists at the 108th session of the International Labour Conference on the occasion of the celebration of the centenary of the only tripartite organization of the United Nations system, the International Labour Organization. We welcome the detailed agenda of the centennial conference, which addresses important dimensions of the world of work. Delegates, let me first of all, on behalf of the tripartite constituencies of Somalia, thank you most sincerely for reinstating the voting rights of the Federal Republic of Somalia. We wish to congratulate the Director General of the ILO on his report, and in particular for emphasizing the need for more towards the advancement of the world of work initiatives and the need to focus on the historically neglected issue of equality. Recently, we observed a microscope focusing on two issues affecting women at work, namely problems of harassment and violence. As the Director General's report points out, the goal of equality, justice and progress is still far from slow, uneven and uncertain. That is why, during this conference, we should put much effort into negotiating and adopting an international labour standard that is indispensable of laying a solid legal basis to guide the fight against violence and harassment in the world of work. This realization will be a major contribution to the broader push for equality. Madam Vice President, suffice to say that the agenda item, violence and harassment in the world of work, is very important to us, both as trade union movement and in the broader context of our country, which has experienced years of ruinous and bloody violence at unacceptable levels. Every year, hundreds of Somali workers, especially women, die as a result of workplace violence. Therefore, allowing harassment and violence in the workplace without a solution is not only costly, but totally unacceptable. Today, our world is facing serious problems such as inequality, unemployment, underemployment, social injustice, climate change, growing violence, and rampant impunity. The rapid economic integration of the past centenary has led to the development of a supply chain and value chain model that has created a crisis of informality and inequality. The majority of the workers experience lower wages and substandard working and living conditions, along with increased productivity growth. The lion's share of improved economic growth benefits just a few, while the majority, including the global workforce, continues to sink into poverty, misery, and fear of unprecedented exploitation. Since these problems result from decisions based on economic rationality and dehumanization of politics, the ultimate solution must be revitalization and the restoration of the human-centered development agenda. Therefore, it is imperative that we develop a new way of thinking, a paradigm shift that must be grounded in the very foundation of freedoms, human dignity, social justice, and decent work for all. We are pleased to report that since the last International Labour Conference, Somalia has taken concrete steps to foster inclusion, social dialogue and tripartism in a policy formulation and implementation. A new draft labour law, which is in line with international labour standards, has been agreed by the tripartite partners, and it effectively protects the rights and interests of the workers of Somalia. And also a new national employment policy and a comprehensive social protection have been decided through a tripartite consultations. We need to maintain and sustain this positive development to promote a culture of respect for democracy, good governance and social justice in Somalia. We view unemployment as a major hurdle in realizing lasting peace, stability and development in Somalia, and urge the ILO to scale up its efforts for assisting Somalia in employment generation. The fundamental principles of the ILO remain immutable and must be applied in Somalia effectively. This means that labour is not a commodity, that freedoms of expression and association are essential to sustain progress in our country, and that poverty everywhere constitutes a danger to prosperity everywhere. Finally, In charting a path for the next 100 years, this principle is enshrined in the Declaration of Philadelphia, and it is mentioned, quote, "There can be no lasting peace without social justice," close the quote, must guide us for the next 100 years. I thank you very much.